Hello my YouTube friends. I'm keeping my social distance 6 feet away today. It's more than 6 feet away. We're not gathering like 5 people or less. So we're just trying to go for a walk, and I rode my bicycle today, which is really good. Today's weather is nice. It's in the 70s. So it's kind of warm, but I'm wearing this jacket just in case, you know, when I ride a bike I get pretty cold. So today I'm going to talk about I'm really disappointed, you know, to see the news in Hong Kong. It's really unbelievable. As you guys are aware, like in Europe, UK, Germany, Italy, Spain has been getting really bad on this virus, and the students have suddenly in limbo. And I'll tell you why. Suddenly they are all panicking because just all hell breaks loose. Nowadays when you see the news, everything changes within the hour. So you guys, if you notice, you see the news, every hour there's a briefing or of some state or province, wherever, and there are new measures because this is a very serious pandemic. My 2 nieces, actually they study in the UK, and like it was on last week, it was on a Wednesday, and suddenly they said, well, on Friday they're gonna shut this the campus down, and they're all in boarding, and they don't have a guardian or anything in the UK. So suddenly they are faced with panic because the doors will be closed, and nobody, you know, they don't know where to go. They have nobody to take care of them. So the parents, my sister, you know, panics, and everybody's trying to get a ticket out of the UK to go back to Hong Kong, and that was a real mess. Everybody's fighting just to get a ticket, and what I know now, they paid almost like $5,000-6,000. You hear the ship still sailing. It's over there, and it's gonna enter downtown Vancouver. Well, excuse me, excuse the ship. So they paid around, you know, $5,000-6,000 just for a one-way ticket back to Hong Kong, and it wasn't even a direct flight. So they had to stop in Amsterdam or somewhere like that, and to transfer flights, which is really bad. But finally they are safe in Hong Kong. But I have to tell you, these kids now have to go through mandatory quarantine, and this has been a really failure. People are not really confining themselves. They're not self-isolating. They're not doing the quarantine. And I'll tell you the consequences that, you know, the Hong Kong people are facing. It's a crisis right now. In Hong Kong, we're hearing, you know, it's getting more serious. And you know, this global pandemic, almost 40% of the population in the world is getting infected. 40%. So 40% of people, more than half of the people, in self-quarantine lockdown. Unfortunately, there's not a lockdown here, but we are advised to stay at home. But we're just coming, you know, to this park just for a few hours, and just gonna head back. And we just try to get out to get some fresh air, unless we have to get some groceries. And I got some groceries, by the way, since I'm out here, right, riding my bicycle, which is good. Now in Hong Kong, it's become a second wave, and this second wave is really serious, and hundreds of people are getting infected by this virus. And it's not coming from mainland China this time, because people from mainland China are entering Hong Kong. They closed most of the borders, so there's only 2 borders that you can come in from mainland China. But the deal is, this border, when you come from mainland China, you still have to self-quarantine for 2 weeks. But the people coming in from overseas are not really quarantining themselves. So what they do is they go to the bar area, Soho and the Lan Kwai Fong district, and they're just going bar hopping. And they don't even know, they're not tested. But what we know is they are infected. So if they're infected with this virus from overseas, and they're just going bar hopping, and that's, you know, people are getting infected because of this bar hopping, you know, irresponsible behavior. And I'll tell you how the Hong Kong government has made a system so people can be quarantined or self-isolate. And now you can easily identify people that are in self-quarantine or mandatory quarantine in Hong Kong. Because if you don't do that, you'll be, I think there's a big fine now going on, and the maximum fine is 6 months in prison. Because people are just really irresponsible. And later on I'll show you some pictures and clips showing how irresponsible people are. They would think they're invisible, and they would think, oh yeah, I'm okay. But you can see, you know, kids coming back from schools are not even wearing any protection gear. They're not even wearing a mask. So their salivas or the virus can get out of them and easily transmit to other people. And in this video, you can see, you know, kids walking around the street with this band. So in Hong Kong government, they implemented, if you arrive, you know, anywhere from Hong Kong, there's a quarantine band you wear, and this is like a GPS tracker. So you're supposed to be at home 24/7 for 2 weeks, but you would see people walking around with these bands, and they would go on the public transport, they would go bar hopping, they would go to restaurants outside because they feel too bored, they go shopping, and it's totally unacceptable because the rate, you know, the infection rate has suddenly just skyrocketed since last week. Okay, this thing is just happening every day. So what happens now? People now, the government has advised the citizens, if you see people with the quarantine ban, you got to call the police, so they'll, you know, arrest them right away and put them into a mandatory, you know, quarantine camp, some government establishment, so they will be confined to a camp. And you know, it sounds really dangerous, scary, but what can the people do because of their selfishness? Because they don't know, has this quarantine, you know, or the quarantine period been over or not, but they still have this ban on. So now the police are doing random checks. The citizens are giving, you know, a phone number to report people. And it's just really sad to see Hong Kong, you know, the second wave is skyrocketing. And people do die from this. And the latest news I heard is Prince Charles, you know, he's 71 and he's infected with this virus. This is really bad to hear. And for me, I try to keep myself clean, hand sanitizer in my pocket. Yeah, just trying to keep safe, trying to keep my distance between everybody. And this is a wide open area, so I think it's safer. But I still need to come out for a walk around, ride my bicycle. Oh dear, so I just wanted to do this quick vlog to tell you guys in Hong Kong, the second wave is coming in. So now only Hong Kong residents can be admitted to Hong Kong now. So people with, I think, working visas or foreign passports visiting Hong Kong, they are all been denied entry because of selfish people not self-quarantine. So guys, I just wanted to tell you this sad situation. It's, you know, for us even now, going back to Hong Kong now, it's just out of the question because the school, they say it's going to start in April, but for now we're looking at the, you know, the air tickets, everything is full because there's no planes coming in from Hong Kong to North America, hardly any, and it's just being overbooked. But if you want to get a ticket, it's like triple, quadruple the price. Now the restaurants in Hong Kong, I think it's following the trend in North America. The dine-in restaurants are all closing, so nobody's gonna, you know, be dining in the restaurants. It's takeout service or delivery only. But the sad thing is, in McDonald's in Hong Kong, lots of homeless people. They call it Mac Refuge because a lot of homeless people sit in the restaurants at nighttime for shelter. But unfortunately, when they shut down this dining area, these people will be on the streets again. So, you know, in Hong Kong, the restaurants are very nice, you know, the 24-hour restaurants, and they let the homeless people stay in the dining area for 24 hours, 24/7. But now they have to be out. So this is very sad, and there's some news on these homeless people now. Okay guys, I'm gonna continue my bike ride right here in the park, trying to keep a safe distance between everybody. So thank you very much. Give me a like, I really appreciate it. And yeah, thank you for joining me for this very sad vlog regarding Hong Kong. So take care. I'm just gonna do my riding. Bye.